Hey everybody, so for today's video, I want to talk about something that's actually both film and game related, more so game related, but you'll see in a minute why it's film related as well. For this video, I want to talk about, films that, obviously some of these are bad, some of these are, matter of opinion if you like them or not. But for the most part, this video is really not about, what are good films, what are bad films. This video is about, films in general that would just make the worst possible video games you could ever imagine. They could be great films, they could be terrible films. It really doesn't even come down to that. It just comes down to, what would make a better movie and what would make a better video game. And I can guarantee you one thing: if any of these films became video games, it would be really, really bad thing to see as far as video games go. So I have six different titles to talk about. Like I said, some of these titles are very good movies, but like I said, they wouldn't exactly make good video games. So, um, first one I want to mention is Buried. Imagine if there was a Buried video game. That game would basically just be Ryan Reynolds worrying in a coffin getting out. Um, there would basically, I don't know what you would even do in the video game. Would you just like keep pressing a button and it wouldn't make Ryan Reynolds as worried, or I mean, it's like what could they possibly do if Buried got turned into a video game? Really, not much they could do. So I think that's one reason why I put Buried on the list, because it would make a very boring video game if they did make it into a game. So the next movie I want to talk about that could make another really awful video game would be My Dinner with Andre. Imagine if that was a video game. What would you do? I mean, it's just two guys. The whole movie is basically two guys sitting at a table talking about their life experiences since they last saw each other. What would they do? I mean, it's just like, would they do like what Lucas Games used to do? Like you could choose like the line of dialogue they would say or something. It's like, what would you do? It's like, how would you know if the player won or lost something? It's like, what could they do? It's just like, that's another movie. It's like, what could you do for a video game? It just wouldn't work. So that's the reason why I brought that title up. Um, Imagine the next one I want to bring up is, imagine if My Fair Lady was a video game. Yeah, that'd be a bad video game. I don't think anybody would buy it. I don't even think the fans of My Fair Lady movie would buy it. It would just be no fun to play at all. The next one's actually my least favorite movie of all time, and I think it would make about as bad, if not worse, as a video game, and that would be The Hours. What could you do in an Hours video game? It's like, what would you do? I mean, you would just be like walk around and I don't even know what you'd do. I don't know. I don't know. What would you do in an Hours video game? That would not make a good video game. The next film's a very good movie, and even won Best Picture. But once again, it would make a terrible video game if they made this into a game. Imagine if American Beauty was a video game. Would you like? Would you just like play Kevin Spacey and go to work and go to the office, go to the restaurant job, and stalk the girl he likes? It's like, what could you do if American Beauty was a video game? It's like, well, I don't know what they could do. It's just they can't make a game off that. It'd be too hard. And then the next one's kind of like with My Dinner with Andre. Once again, great movie. It's actually a trilogy of movies. These are great movies, but they would just make awful video games. Let's be completely honest. Imagine if the Before Sunrise trilogy was a set of video games. Once again, what would you do? It's just like, would you choose the line of dialogue they'd say? Would you just walk around and see the places they walk around in those movies? Just like, I don't know what you could do. It's just like there's nothing you can do. Um, like I said, there's just no set of winning or losing or going from mission to mission. It's just like, what could they possibly do if that was turned into a video game? It's just like, I don't know how they could do it. They can't do it. That's probably why there's no video game about it. So, um, like I said, guys, I know this video is a little bit silly. It was a little weird. But really think about it. There are just some movies out there that would make terrible video games. So let me know what you guys think down below. What would be some films that would make awful video games, and vice versa? What would be some games that would make awful movies? So let me know down below, and I'll see you here for the next video.